Welcome to Plays. This will be episode 32 of my Fire in the Lake playthrough, with me playing as the US and the other three factions being played by the Tru'ng expansion bots. Hi. I thought we'd go just a little recap of what's going on, in case you haven't followed every episode. Why not? And so far, we are now literally halfway through the deck. There's 34 cards in the deck. There's 34 cards in the discard pile. Okay, there's a few up here and such forth, but we're making progress with 3 cards in the ARVN leader deck as well. So, yeah, I'm feeling midpoint of the full length of the game if the game goes to full length. As is the feeling of dread. You've got NBA up here and up here amassing in force. They've also secured really the Ho Chi Minh Trail with the buying of various capabilities as shown here. The Top Gun card is, it's not a US capability, it's actually the NBA have got that. So airstrike degrades trail after applying 2 hits, only on a 4 through 6. Okay, so it needs a die roll. And then we've got the MiGs, unless unshaded Top Gun, which are unless unshaded Top Gun. Whenever airstrike degrades trail, US removes 1 available troop to casualties pilots, but it is shaded Top Gun. Oh, unless unshaded. So, yeah, so both of those are applying. Well, confusing myself now. And also the SAM enemy arrays improves trail 2 boxes, not 1. So, yeah, in actual fact, I didn't apply that last time. Thinking about it, they did a rally with trails 2 boxes. God, remember that? So yeah, the trail is pretty secure. With the 2nd edition, bombing the trail is not as an easy option as before, because the US are not guaranteed the amount of hits on their airstrike. In 1st edition, you always got 6 hits. In this edition, you roll a d6. So the air power has been a little bit nerfed, but if it's for balance of the game, then it's for balance of the game. So overall, as the US, I'm feeling threatened by the NBA. We know the Eastern offensive is going to come at some point, and Tet. The ARVN not doing too good themselves either. The patronage is low. So it's heading towards, in my mind at the moment, the insurrectionists, but there's still a lot to play for. Still a lot to play for. In the last episode, we had the myself doing a train and advise, trying to get that aid up, and the VC played the event here. Nai Gon Hoi Thoi. They placed it in Saigon. I quashed that with the advise. I wasn't having any of that nonsense. So I sent Rambo in. So let's move on to this episode. I'll just get rid of the little mini-me. And onwards and upwards. So I'm the only faction that is ineligible. Let's have a look at the card. Mandate of Heaven. Okay, card 86. Now, we'll probably have 2 other factions that will say, hold on. Because the first thing you look at is any eligible non-player faction can play its pivotal event and current event is not critical. The card 86 is critical for the ARVN and the NBA and the VC. That's interesting, because those are the three that could play the pivotal event. So according to that, any eligible NP faction can play its pivotal and current event is not critical. Current event is critical. Now, that's a little bit vague, because say the ARVN are going to play this event, wouldn't the VC and the NBA want to trump it with their pivotal event? I think I need to check that. Apparently there has been an errata regarding that statement. Okay. So NP faction can play its pivotal event and current event is not critical, and they have first dibbies on this card. So the VC and the NBA, even though this card's critical for them, if they were the first eligible on it, they wouldn't play their pivotal event. But the ARVN are the first. So the ARVN can't play their pivotal event, but the VC and the NBA can try. Now, who would be the next? Let's try the VC. The VC are like, oh, can they do TET? Right, they've got 20 greater than 20 gorillas in the south, and there's the first requirement, the ARVN leader box. We know that's okay. So they've got to roll a dice, which is 1d6 equal to, or sorry, just less than the number of ARVN leaders in the box. There's 3 ARVN leaders. So a 1 or a 2, they unleash TET. No. Then the NBA, their requirements are that leader box, yes, and more NBA troops and US troops on the map. Currently there are 38 NBA troops and 25 US troops, so that requirement's met. So again, a 1 or a 2, and they release the Easter offensive. No. So therefore, we go back to the ARVN, and they can now play this as the critical card. So, because they won't do their pivotal event. So is the current event critical and effective? Okay. Mandate of Heaven, capability. I think all capabilities are classed. Yes. So 1 governed space may transfer aid to patronage without shifting support. Okay. So they get it through the back door, basically. So they play the event. Or 86, just double check that. 86, yeah, definitely, they play the event. All right, so let me find the token for that. Event markers, Mandate of Heaven. They haven't done that many govern actions, but now they might do. Now there's no political shift for it, support shift. Okay, so next up on the card is the VC. They do active faction will be first eligible on upcoming event. No. First eligible chose Open SA. They didn't. Will be first eligible on upcoming card. They aren't. So they will do an op and SA, or a pass. Right, that means I get the cards out. Right. The first card up is VCZ, which says on it 15 plus VC gorillas on the map. Right, there's a total of 30 gorillas. There's 3 not on the map, so that means there's 27 on the map. That's a little green tick. Right. It then says select one special activity. Patronage. Oh, is patronage equal to or greater than 17? It's not, it's a measly 12, so they don't do that one. So they do B, which is, so there was two options on here. A, if the patronage was 17 or higher, they would have subverted. It's not. So they do B, which it says tax in 1D3 spaces. Okay. They're taxing in 3 spaces. Okay. So the actual rules for tax, remember they've got to always follow the rules themselves, are gain resources in up to 4 spaces, while they're doing it in 3. Procedure, each space activate the VC gorilla, shift one level towards active support, and add VC resources equal to econ or twice population. So remember, they don't track econ, resources, but the first place they want to tax is where there's a VC base, where there's 2+ underground gorillas. Okay. Right. So let's see how they're going to, where could they tax? Let's go back to the pawns. They could tax here. So the locations for taxing are, with an underground VC gorilla and no coin control. So they could tax here and here. 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 No coin control. Here. And here. That's where they have got gorillas. Okay. So we've got to follow the tax on the actual spaces chart. In the first place, it says most total opposition. I think all of those have got 2 opposition. They're all the same. City or province with the most gorillas. That's Quang Tin. By far the most gorillas. So they tax there. So activate gorilla. Lower the total just towards support. Okay. And then increase shift agitate total +1 for each pop in the region. There's 2 pop in that region. Agitate total, which is currently under there, it goes up to. That's the first area. So the next highest amount of gorillas is 4, 4, 4. So all those other spaces have got 4 in them. So I'm just going to mark which ones we've done so far. So that was a definite. Okay, that's only got 2. That's got 4, that's got 4, and that's got 4. So what's the next on the list? Interesting enough, it doesn't matter about the amount of population in the area. So it says US or ARVN is a player, 1+ econ location. Well, they don't have you want an econ location. So select at random on those other places. So there is 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 in it, 4 gorillas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Roll a 5. So this one. Activate. Just towards support. And again, 1 from there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the last one. 5, this one then. Activate. Towards support. I'm going to. Okay, so that's the special activities. What's next up on the card? 3+ VC guerrillas in any space. Yes. March using move priorities. The VC are on the move. Okay. I'm going to remove all the pawns. Time being. And then I'm going to sit with the charts in front of me to work out where they march. I'll be doing that off screen, and then I'll explain what happens when I come back on screen. Because I find, as I mentioned before, the march the most convoluted part of this whole process. Everything else seems to slot into place, but the march sequence, man, it boggles me. But hopefully I've got most of them right-ish. I think at the present moment, that's the best I can hope for, is right-ish. So, okay, there might be extra markers you can see now on the map. So I went through this. So the first step of a march is select a destination. For the VC, selecting a destination, first thing is city or province not at active opposition. Second thing is city or province with the fewest VC pieces. And third thing, with most population. Going through those, Saigon. Okay, it's not an active opposition, it's an active support. It's got no VC pieces in at all. So there's quite a lot of places to have VC pieces in at all. But the most pop is Saigon. Hence why I've now put the white cube in there. Pawn, not cube, it's not a cube, it's a pawn. Okay, then once you've determined the destination, you've got to select the origins. The origins, places with the most movable pieces, and that turned out to be these 3 spaces I've marked. Okay, then how many actual pieces do you move? So they've got to keep 1 acting MP faction guerrilla because they've got a base, at least 1 guerrilla. Then they want to keep 3 guerrillas in those spaces if they could make another base, with a room for another base, which there are. So there's 3 guerrillas standby. That's why I put these guerrillas here, here, and here. Okay. Also, none moving from here because they could also create a base there. So the next thing up is moving them. Okay, we've determined destination, determined where they're coming from, we've determined how many guerrillas moving in. So there's 1 from each of these areas moving into that location there. Now, do they become visible? Okay, so it says if a destination, line of communication or support, and if moving guerrillas plus US ARVN cubes and SF there, special forces there, X3, C3 activate the moving guerrillas. So they get seen moving into there. But that didn't seem to be on the actual list there, a requirement to stop them moving into that position. Okay, so that is the first destination done. So then they get to roll a dice, see if they actually continue. 1 or 2, they stop. 3 or higher, they continue. They continue. So now I'm going to have to work out the next destination. Okay, so running through the options again, because we know that these are going to have to keep 3 guerrillas at each of these locations. None of these guys will march. So going through the options, the first one, city or province, not active opposition. There's a lot of places down here which don't have active opposition and high population, but there's no guerrillas to actually march to them. So they won't march to them. So they haven't. So this is there's a lot of troops, guerrillas that can march, and here as well. There's 2. Okay. So I've marked Hoi as the next destination. Fill in those requirements. Set your province not active opposition. Fills that one. Set your province with fewest VC pieces. There's no VC pieces. And most pop. So yeah, that's worth 2. However, I just had a thought, going back on something. If they knew they were going to be made visible here, let's be sensible about this. The one from here, they'd send someone who's going to be visible anyway. So let's send the visible guy in. And the same from here. Okay. They would have sent the visible guy. They know they're going to be spotted. So why would you send someone that's unspotted? Okay. All right. So here, the requirements to keep someone in Tru'ng tree are get one acting MP faction to the destination. Now, will he be spotted? Yes, it's support, US troop. It's a troop and police for spotting purposes. Possession is like moving guerrillas plus US arming cubes, C3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're going to be spotted anyway. So they go in. Okay. So that's their next destination done. Obviously, these guys can't get there. So carrying on, a 3 or higher? No, they stop at that point. All right, so that's their march. March using move priorities. Select 2 locations adjacent to most underground VC guerrillas. Okay, so I missed that first part. So select 2 LOCs adjacent to most underground VC guerrillas. Most underground VC guerrillas was here. Okay, 2 LOCs, highest LOCs adjacent to there. Well, there is actually, because this one here is not adjacent to there. So they move a guerrilla to here, and they move a guerrilla onto here, to this road. Okay, let's put that one down there. So, why is it? It shouldn't change. Right, okay, that coin control. All right, so that should have been done first. No detriment there. And select spaces and marked destinations, which we've done. So that concludes the VC on that card. So I'm going to end faction play, end card play. I'm going to put Mandate of Heaven up there and draw a new card. So, right, that will do for this particular episode. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll see you in the jungle. Bye.